what to open the bidding with when we have a 5 card major and a longer minor. Okay, that's kind of a classic question. And not everybody's the same on this. Some people have kind of different ideas. So the first thing I do when I run into something like this, and you'll see my tabs, I go straight to the Bridge World Standard 2017. And one of the options is, like, if we look at the table of contents or whatever, choice of suit. Okay, and this is just bridgeworld.com. This is one of my main resources for answering questions like this. Okay, so under choice of suit, it says, with a minimum range 5-6 hand, so that's what we're talking about, open in the higher and shorter suit only when the long suits are adjacent. So that's what Bridge World thinks. I go to Washington Standard, and there's an opening bid summary right at the top. One of the things it says is one of a major opening is 12 or more high card points, 5+ in the suit, and it may have a longer minor. Okay, and I looked in the book too, and Steve Robinson, the author, was very adamant about opening 5 card majors, even with like a 6 or 7 card minor. That's his style. Next thing I did was Google Larry Cohen 6'5". I literally went to Google, typed Larry Cohen 6'5". This popped up. You can do that with just about any subject, and whatever Larry Cohen says is going to be solid advice. Feel very confident about that. So he's got a whole article on bidding 6-5 hands. It says he constantly gets asked about the topic and makes a very good point that that's usually a clue that there's different reasonable opinions about it. And he goes on to say he basically that he uses judgment. Okay, so if he's got like a chunky 5-card suit, like say you've got king, queen, jack, 10, 9 of spades, and 6 clubs to the king empty, open a spade by all means. Treat it like a 5-5 hand. It's obviously the way that the bidding and the bonus structure is set up. It gives priority to majors. Okay. If you have, like, say, 6 clubs and 5 spades and both suits are decent, the good thing about this is you're not necessarily going to have to reverse to show your pattern. So say you open a club with 6 of them, partner's probably going to do something like bid a heart, and you can bid a spade, right? So you don't have to reverse with that type of shape. That's one thing going for, like, when you have clubs and spades. Anyway, 6 cards in a major and only 5 in the minor, you obviously open a major. And again, on the rebid, it's going to be a question of, do I rebid my major to show 6, or do I now rebid my minor? And the answer is, like, you got to use your noggin. You got to see what the suits look like. You got to think about what the objectives in the auction are, and just kind of try and do your best. And your judgment improves the more decisions like this you face. But I guess the important thing is to, like, think through the situation and what the most actionable information you can send your partner is. Don't think of it as like there's some textbook answer with this type of hand, and I've just got to bid it out because that's the way it is, and I'm not thinking about what I'm trying to accomplish here. As far as, like, the textbook formulaic bidding, that's more generally reserved for balanced hands. Okay, those are definitely like, this is the recipe for 15 to 17 balance. You open a no trump, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, he goes on and on here. With 5-5 in the black suits, I prefer to open a spade, but I don't feel strongly about it. I'll open a weak 2 with 6-5 if the 6-card suit is good. So summary, there's no one size fits all. So there you go. There's an answer from me that doesn't pin me to any particular thing, so no one can now come up to me and say, but you said. So yeah, those would be my sources. Like, first 3 places I'm going: bridgeworld.com, Washington Standard summary, and Google Larry Cohen plus whatever you want Larry Cohen to talk about. Okay. So that's that. Oh, actually, let me show you the hand from last Thursday that I believe brought up this question. And here's another good source. Here's another huge benefit we can derive from playing online and being able to look at what all the other people who held our hands and faced very similar decisions in a lot of areas, what they did when faced with the same decisions. Just to, it's a constant process of calibrating your decision-making process. So if we go to my history here, and I've got board 18 written down. Open Bridge Raleigh. Ah, yes. Yeah, the Joyces shoved this one in our face. Okay, so the East hand right here, try and make this bigger for you. The East hand, I think, is the one that sent people scrambling to this question, because it's a pretty good hand, right? A very good hand. It's 3.5 losers, and it's 6-5 shape with diamonds and spades. And you'll see that, like, obviously one of the strongest players anywhere, Randy Joyce, chose to open the bidding a spade. And that worked out really well for them, especially when his partner held 7 spades to the king. Okay. So he opened a spade. I went down here to this other tables tab and did a little more rooting around and found somebody who opened a diamond. Where was that? Okay, there's JL Rice. That's John Rice. Also, like, one of the strongest players around, and he opened the hand of diamond. So, what I get from that is both options are in the ballpark. Okay. And I guess, you could always ask one of those two guys, what was it about, the hand that made you choose a diamond or a spade? What was your follow-up plan? But, just reading the articles and looking empirically at what happened at our club, you see that different people are doing different things, and that's okay. Bidding's, it's a lot of science, or a lot of art, I should say. And there's certain things that you have to have down rote, but people have different ideas, and that's okay with that. Okay. Again, I'll repeat it. Use the opportunity you have that you are holding the same hands as very, very strong and experienced players in some cases. You have a sample size of like 17 or 18 tables you can look at the auction and the trick by trick play. Take advantage of that. That's good bang for your buck when you're reviewing, is to see especially what stronger players did with the hands that you held.